I found out in the beginning that he was a Satanist. I found some pages from the Satanic Bible.
When Denise and Jamelle met more than 3 years ago, Jamelle believed they simply would enjoy a one-night stand and move on. But he found himself falling in love with the single mother of 4. They decided to become domestic partners and now are expecting their first child together. Or are they?
I don't want to pay for a baby that I don't believe is mine.
I'm like 1,000% sure it's his child because the dates just don't add up from when I slept with my ex.
Are you still messing with the ex?
An ex-lover, a question of paternity, and much more.
You want him out of the homeless shelter?
Yeah, he can find a way on his own.
Today, on Divorce Court.
Come to order. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lynn Toller presiding.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here with Denise Jennings and Jamelle Manning. The two of you have a legal domestic partnership since January 6, 2012 in the state of New York. You don't want to be partners anymore. Ms. Jennings is seeking transitional support, and we're going to talk about that momentarily. But before we do, I want to talk a little bit about your relationship and why you're trying to end it here today. Ms. Jennings.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm here today because I can't deal with this relationship anymore. We've been together for almost 3 years, and I'm just not happy. I'm not satisfied, and there's no affection. There's no romance. I mean, like, if Cupid shot him with an arrow, he would shoot Cupid back. It's that bad. And it's gotten to the point where, you know, I slipped up and I ran into the arms of my ex.
You slipped up?
Yeah, I was seeking...
And fell into the arms of your ex?
Yes, I was seeking affection elsewhere, and I found it there. And right now, one of our biggest rifts between us is the question of paternity of the baby that I'm carrying. And, you know, we got this on...
How long after you officially became domestic partners did the slip-up happen?
Probably about 1.5 years. That's when it started.
1.5 years later?
Yes. It's been a roller coaster. It's been an up and down, back and forth between my ex and him, and I didn't really...
Are you still messing with the ex?
As of recently, I had stopped. It was just a few times in the last 3 years, but we're no longer involved with each other.
Mr. Manning, how did you find out about what was going on between her and her ex?
Well, one day she came home crying and everything like that. Like, she went to church and stuff. So I asked her, why are you crying for? She was like, no, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to hurt your feelings. I'm like, is it about your ex? Did you sleep with him? She's like, no, I didn't do that. It's more serious than that. I'm like, all right. For me, that's something that's extremely serious. It can't be that crazy for you to tell me, oh, I took money from you or I did something else. It wasn't that. So she tells me, oh, I slept with my ex like 3 times. I'm like, you slept with your ex 3 times? What do you mean you slept with your ex 3 times? When did this happen? She's like, oh, when I went over here after church one day or...
After church?
Yeah, it just kind of happened. It wasn't...
It just kind of happened? What kind of sermon was that? I mean...
I don't know, I can't
the sermon should at least get you till, you know, Monday morning without...
I guess I
major
was moved
sin?
in the wrong way. I don't know. It just happened.
So she told you about those things. What was your response?
Well, my response is like, it doesn't sound right. Like, how can you actually cheat on me? You say you love me and that we are meant to be together forever and all that. So I went behind her back, waited until she went to sleep or whatever, and called her ex, and we spoke. And he told me, oh, we had sex 6 times more than that. I'm like, 6 times?
That wasn't true, though. That wasn't true.
Wait a minute. It wasn't true. Altogether
it was 6 times.
Yeah.
But I only told him about 3. I told him about the 3, and it really hurt his feelings, and I was going to tell him about the other 3.
You think?
It was too much at one time, and I said, you know, I'm going to pace myself. I'm going to tell him, but I already hurt him with just telling him about the past. Like, the first 3 times, that's when we were together. The last 3 times we were on a break, we weren't together. But, like, when I first met him, I was in church. You know, I was doing good. I was taking care of me and my kids. Everything was fine.
How many do you have?
I have 4.
You have 4 children?
Yes, from previous
relationships. And the 5th on the way?
Yes. And the biggest problem we had in the beginning was, you know, I was on the right path, and he was a bad influence when I first met him. I found out in the beginning that he was a Satanist. And that's what stopped the whole, you know, marriage thing. We were talking marriage, and then that slipped up because I found some pages from the Satanic Bible that he had brought to the house when he had moved in with me.
The Satanic Bible?
Well, I wrote it out. I copied it because a friend had lent me the book, and I didn't know where I can buy it, so I just copied out a couple of chapters that I was like having a question about. So, you know.
And I'm all for intellectual curiosity.
Oh.
Were you pursuing it as a belief system? Were you simply interested in what it had to say? Did you intend to live by it, or?
He's burned
Well-
the Bible before. That's how serious it is. He used to be into it. And I told him, you can't have this stuff in the house, not with me and the kids. That's something that I'm not
Mr.
rolling
Manning?
with.
Yes.
What was your intent?
Well, basically, I got into the whole satanic thing when I was doing the traveling back and forth as a young adolescent, you know, going to raves and stuff like that, and I got introduced to it. It's more of a lifestyle more than a religion because, like, it teaches you how to just be yourself. There's nobody that you have to answer to but yourself. 'Cause
There's
at
no
the end of-
moral code, no higher calling, no belief system. It's just have a
No.
good time no matter what.
Yeah, basically is the overall statement is die on your feet rather than die on your knees.
I don't believe in that.
So,
When divorce court continues, Jamelle drops a bombshell.
see, my thing is this. I love money more than I love her.
Have you been living together for years but found that splitting up is as complicated as getting a divorce? Call toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or visit our website at divorcecourt.com or become a fan at facebook.com/divorcecourt.
Divorce Court returns with the case of Denise Jennings, who says her domestic partner Jamelle no longer seems invested in their relationship. But does Jamelle have good reason to be distant?
I gotta tell you, Miss Jennings, you're pregnant with a baby and he's not altogether sure it's his. He could be the ex. I don't know how he could be sure.
I told him, at some point, we're going to separate. Like, you're going to go one way and I'm going to go the other because I'm really serious about this Christianity move. I want to move closer to God. I want to do right. And I want you to take that path with me. But if it's not for you and you don't feel it, then, you know, just let it go. Let me go, let the kids go, just walk away. But the love is what kept us together. So I said, okay, we'll find a way to work this out. And it was a back and forth. Like, I went like backwards. I had my downfalls. Not saying that I didn't smoke before I met him or anything, but he got me back into it. He started taking me to raves, and I started
Smoking
drinking.
weed or smoking cigarettes? I mean,
yeah, I don't like cigarettes, but he had me smoking weed, and this was something that I had given up right before I met him. So I felt like I was slipping up, and I was like, you're not a good influence on me, and you know, I feel like I'm going backwards, and I have to be, you know, an example for my kids. I felt convicted about that as well, and he's not even affectionate, you know, towards me and the kids. I'm like, so what are you really here for? You're not serving any good purpose in my life.
Well, she said that a couple of times, and she uses as her reasoning for falling back with the ex was that you failed to be affectionate. Do you know what she's talking about?
I know exactly what she's talking about. See, my thing is this. I love money more than I love her.
Yeah.
And that's like one of our major issues. I'm like a go-getter. I'm a creative
You
person.
love money more than you love her?
He calls it his wife.
Yeah, money is my first wife. That's why I wear a ring on my right hand. I refuse
Because you're
to
married
take it
to
off.
money.
Yeah, I'm married to money. We have issues right now because, you know, she don't want to be around me as often as I need her, but, you know.
She doesn't want to be around me as often as I need her. What do you need her for?
To take care of bills and survival. So I try to get creative with the things that I do. Like, I try to go off my natural skills, such as drawing, writing poetry.
If you love money, how come you don't have more of it?
Amen.
Like,
Amen. Preach.
that's why I said that we're having issues at the moment.
What's that got to do with her?
Exactly.
Well, like I said, like a regular standard 9 to 5 is not going to necessarily like keep my interest.
He's not with
So I try to make
So
money.
what does one do? I mean, you know,
Get rich quick schemes, throwing parties and stuff where people could take drugs and he can sell drugs and buy
I
drugs.
don't think you love money. I think you love your freedom and want to do what you want to do. I don't think you really love money. I mean, Donald Trump loves money because he goes out there and he makes money. And whatever he does, he's making money. He's working, he's pushing. He's not chillaxing. He's not raving. He's not weed smoking. He's out there making money. Like him or not like him, he's making money. You don't love money. You just don't want to work.
He has
No,
his
There's
way.
a difference.
No, I actually love working. Like my resume is filled. My resume is filled with a whole lot of different things. You know, I do the 9-to-5s like construction, masonry. I do anything.
Okay, let's switch gears for a moment here. You're domestic partners now.
Yes.
Do you consider yourself married to him, or do you consider yourself as something less than married?
At this moment, way less than married. We're nowhere near it. I don't even know what we are now. Like, we've been trying to make it work, and I just
Are
don't
you
see
still
a way.
living together?
Yes. I don't want it to be like that anymore. There's tension, and he says he forgives me for cheating, but I don't think he really does. And it's like, I can't read his thoughts anymore. He's distant. He's there, but he's not there. He's not there emotionally.
You know, I got to tell you, Ms. Jennings, you're pregnant with a baby. He's not altogether sure it's his. It could be the ex, and you've gone back to the ex a number of times. I don't know how he could be sure or comfortable. You know, I mean, and I understand about trying to be a Christian and people backslide and all that, but you know, and nobody's asking you to be perfect, but your decision-making process seems to be all based on what you want right now, and you'll deal with the consequences later.
When divorce court continues, is it true that what goes around comes around?
Mr. Manning,
Yes.
did you at any time cheat on her? Do you believe the baby Denise is carrying is Jamelle's? Call 1-800-282-1991 to vote now and see if America agrees with your opinion. You'll also receive some valuable offers. Call 1-800-282-1991 now.
If you would like your case heard on Divorce Court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at divorcecourt.com and follow us on Twitter at Divorce Court.
Divorce Court returns with the case of Jamelle Manning, who questions the paternity of the baby Denise is carrying. But can things get worse for this troubled couple?
But he's not going to leave me, you know, just
Where are you
empty-handed.
currently living?
Currently, right now, we're living in a homeless shelter. When I had went to the doctor, I got a sonogram, and the sonogram had proved that the baby, you know, the date and the size of the child was, you know, further along. Like, it was before I cheated with my ex. And I explained that to him, and I wanted to take him to my next doctor's appointment just to prove, you know, that it's his baby. I'm like 1,000% sure it's his child because the dates just don't add up from when I slept with my ex. But I feel like he still doesn't believe me on that as well.
Well, why would he? I mean, you cheated on him. You know what I mean?
He's not
on the
perfect
regular.
either, though. He's not perfect. He has his moments where he goes
Has
out.
he cheated on you?
I believe he has. He hasn't admitted it to me, but I'm pretty sure, knowing him and the
See
way
what I
he
have to go
acts,
through?
Mr. Manning,
Yes.
did you at any time cheat on her?
Well,
he made attempts.
we wasn't together at the time. I did sleep with somebody else, but I told her about it. You know, it happened a little bit after, you know, we was together with the individual that I was cheating with, but she forgave me for that, so I can't really
let it go.
consider that to be cheated.
Yeah, like I
So
said, he's-
you're looking for transitional support, Ms. Jennings. Why don't you tell me why you're seeking $3,500 from Mr. Manning?
Well, basically, after this is over with, I want him to leave. I want him to move out, but he's not going to leave me, you know, just
Where are you
empty-handed.
currently living?
Currently, right now, we're living in a homeless shelter, and we're trying to get an apartment together. And right now, I'm not able to work due to, you know, circumstances with the pregnancy. So I figured, you know what, you're a grown man, you're able-bodied, you can work, go get a job and help support me until the baby gets here at least.
You want him out of the homeless shelter?
Yeah. He can find a way on his own. They have shelters for men.
And this is a family homeless shelter.
Yes.
So you had to be domestic partners in order to be in it because
Yes.
you couldn't be in it together. If in
Yes.
fact you separate, then you can no longer stay. Neither
I
one
can
of
stay.
you.
I can
You can
stay. He
stay?
can't. I can
But
stay
he
'cause
can't
I have
stay.
children, but he can't. Yes. I feel like he should do something because ever since we've been together, I've been the one carrying him. I've been helping to take care of him. And I've done it
Do
out
you
of the
work?
kindness of my heart. Not currently, no. I used to. But I had to quit my job due to the issues with the pregnancy.
Well, Your Honor, sorry to cut her off from talking, but I don't want to pay for a baby that I don't believe is mine. I mean, like, it's a 50-50 chance that it ain't my kid. So to help her pay for bills or whatever the case is, help her on her way with the living, that's almost like a waste of my time. I'm supposed to be trying to get myself together. She could stay there. I got to find somewhere else. So that means I could be street homeless, whatever. I don't know if I have family that is willing to help me out, anything like that. So basically, I'm on some...
I feel like he owes me that. I've been carrying him for almost 3 years. I've been taking care of him, supporting him, making sure he's okay. And he hasn't done anything for me.
And when she lost her job, you guys lost a place to stay and you went right into the homeless shelter. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
When divorce court continues, Judge Lynn has had enough.
I'm done. Oh no, let me tell you people something. Do you know your history? Do you know anything about the country that you live in? Do you know anything about what's happening today and what Martin Luther King and my father and all of those had to put up with in order just to keep us above ground? Do you believe the baby Denise is carrying is Jamelle's? Call 1-800-282-1991 to vote now and see if America agrees with your opinion. You'll also receive some valuable offers. Call 1-800-282-1991 now.
Divorce court returns with the case of Denise Jennings and Jamelle Manning, who are before Judge Lynn to call an end to their domestic partnership.
We went to the homeless shelter, and I tried to work at a couple of jobs or whatever, but I have like a short temper, so I didn't necessarily make it with my employers. So, like, at the moment, I don't have a good job. But, you know, everybody has their limitations of how much disrespect they're willing to...
You know, that is...
It's like...
I'm done. Oh, no. Let me tell you people something. Everybody has their limitations about how much disrespect they're going to take. Please, do you know your history? Do you know anything about the country that you live in? Do you know anything about what's happening today and what Martin Luther King and my father and all of those had to put up with in order just to keep us above ground? What do you mean you got your limitations? My father had a degree, a doctorate in law, and had to work in a linoleum factory because he couldn't get into a law firm. He didn't have his limitations. He had his manhood. He had his obligations. He had what he needed to do. So he worked, and he worked like a dog, and my sister and I never saw a tuition bill. Not to Harvard, Dartmouth, or any of the other Ivy League schools we went to, because he was a man. What is the matter with you people? You can't just do whatever you want to, sleep with whomever you want to, have babies, or, oh, I'm this and that, you know, praise Satan one day, go to church, think everything's going to be all right. You got to make decisions. You got to say, I'm not allowed to do this. I can't do that. I have to show self-respect. I have to work. I'm not entitled to anything. I've got to work for everything. What are you people doing? We're going to have a society, a whole society of people who are absolutely incapable. Just incapable. No job skills, no ability, nothing to bring to the economy. You got babies here and yonder. You got no stability. I mean, what are you going to do?
I agree. And that's why I'm at this point in my life.
Woo!
Well, I do have poetry.
And your answer is Satan, the guy that we know is going to lose the fight. I can't award you $3,500 that A, he doesn't have, and B, you're in that shelter together. You need to stay there. No, neither one of you has the means or the money to go anywhere. I don't know if that's your kid or not. But what you guys ought to do is try to make it together as best you can until you figure out whose kid this is. Somebody get a job and then work it out from there. But I can't do anything for you now. You know, God bless you. And I'm all for redemption and forgiveness and I hope you get there and I hope you go there. But you guys, you I'm just going to leave. This matter is adjourned.
All rise. Parties may leave the courtroom.
Denise says that since leaving divorce court, they're able to talk more easily about their feelings and plan to stay together. But Jamelle still thinks the baby isn't his and he wants a DNA test. Jamelle realizes that he still loves Denise, and no matter what, he always will be there for her.